Hello, my pack, my tribe. Welcome to Howling After Dark. Okay, I know it's not exactly dark right at the moment, but I work long hours, so I can only do what I can do. You know? So, not always feasible for me to wait until it's dark outside, unfortunately. But, anyways, I hope everybody's doing well. Hope nobody's sick. What crazy times we live in, huh? Now, okay, I'm just going to get into it real quick because, it's me. I question this whole coronavirus thing. Let me explain. I see all these numbers on the news and hear all these numbers on the news and stuff of all the people that have been affected by it, and for those out there that have been affected by you know those that have died of it and actually died of it. I'm not trying to insult you. I'm not trying to talk down to you or make it seem like it's not a serious problem. Obviously it is. But I do question a lot of the things that I hear on the news. But that's nothing new. That's been for quite a while now. But I don't think those numbers are accurate. Let's just put it like that. I think a very opportunistic group, a very opportunistic government entity, if you will, is taking advantage, and they are using this whole social distancing thing as a means to keep us from congregating together and seeing the big picture. That's just my theory. Now, that does not mean that either I myself or anyone I know is going to go and break those rules of social distancing. They are there for a reason, people. What I'm getting at is I question it. I guess the conspiracy theory part of my brain is just, my spidey sense is tingling. Let's put it like that. Alright? I just have a hard time with this whole thing because maybe I just see the writing on the wall. I don't know. Maybe I'm a nut. Who knows? Either way, it's not good. You know, we are social creatures, right? So you take that part of our lives out of the equation, bad things start to happen. Case in point, I've looked into it, and this is just in my area, my town of Akron. Crime rate has gone up since the start of this whole thing, and I don't think that's an accident either, but I digress. I think somebody's very aware of social engineering, and I think somebody has used this whole social distancing thing as a weapon, if you will. Because think about this, people. First off, let's get something clear, right? The popular theory is that COVID-19 came from China. I gotta pull bullshit on that one. No, it did not. I can almost guarantee you with 100% accuracy that COVID-19 and the coronavirus, which, by the way, has only existed for the past 20 years, came from the CDC in West Virginia. I would bet my life on it. In fact, by even bringing it up, I probably am. Now, I'm not saying it was engineered as a weapon or anything kooky like that. It was probably accidentally released. And it mutated until it's now strain 19. I think the reason why they were saying it was from China, quite honestly, I think the whole reason that rumor came about was because, well, look who our president is. We have not had a narcissistic, misogynistic, xenophobic, world leader like this since Adolf Hitler. Those are just facts. This is kind of perfect for him. Because if they're saying it's from China, that's just adding fuel to his particular brand of fire. See, people, see, this is what happens when you trust people from other places. That's what he's doing. That's what he's using it as. He's using it as his little lesson. Oh, see, you can't trust the Chinese. What makes you think you can trust the Mexicans? What makes you think you can trust anybody that's not from America? Well, guess what, motherfucker? You're not from America either. Yeah, you may have been born here, but guess what? Your people came here from someplace else. So your whole argument doesn't even make sense. And it's ridiculous that you keep immigrants down with one hand while you keep down the original owners of this land down with the other. You can't have it both ways. But I digress. Anyways, this isn't even the topic of tonight's show. Although it is related. Sort of. To those of you that listen to me on through links through social media such as hold on a sec. Through social media such as Facebook, you know that I haven't done a lot lately, as far as like this show and other stuff, which is to be expected with everything going on. I mean, it's kind of hard to go ghost hunt someplace when everything's closed down. But, I have been pretty busy within my own house, and this is what I want to get at. And this is really the topic of tonight's show. I've noticed it within my own home. The activity has increased like tenfold. And I think a part of that is because people aren't going out. And I would like to get your take. So if you follow me on Facebook or any other social media platform, feel free to post on my page or shoot me a message and with what's been going on in your house or what have you. But I think it's all tied in, honestly. That's just so much of what happens in the paranormal world has to do with environment. Any change to the environment. And when there's suddenly less people roaming about than there were, that's going to have an effect too. And we know, I mean, like anybody that's investigated the paranormal, you probably already know this, the atmospheric changes alone can heighten activity. Some of the best nights to go ghost hunting, for example, or after it rains where there's been a thunderstorm. There's been an increase in activity associated with phases of the moon, full moons in particular. There's been height in activity associated with snow, and other atmospheric changes. And So why not social ones? You know, uh, and personally, I've already noticed that activity will heighten or decrease depending on what's going on in the world. Case in point, uh, some of the most uh, awe-inspiring, I would say, um, video submissions of paranormal activity, particularly on YouTube, happened during and just after the second war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan. Uh, and not all, from those places necessarily, although there were some from those places that were very awesome, I gotta say. Um, but and you can look all this stuff up on YouTube, by the way. Um, for example, I believe it was in Iraq. Actually, there was a group of boys that were uh, shooting film on a camcorder in a what had become an abandoned schoolhouse, and you may have seen this already, but they caught what looks like the figure of a headless man walking towards them on video. Now, they didn't react to it at the time because they themselves evidently didn't see it. It wasn't until they saw the footage afterwards that they knew something was up. So it's stuff like that has been happening a lot all over the world. Paranormal events getting caught on hold on, tongue-tied. CCTV cameras have gone way up during that war, right? So this is another big world event because it's not just social distancing and wearing face masks here. It's everywhere around the whole world, right? So I've noticed that there's been a lot of things coming from other parts of the world that may not have happened if it weren't for all this. So hold on one second. Anyways, so I would really like to know if you noticed anything. I don't know. Look, I'll put it to you like this. I don't know if you're the type that would notice anything, even if it happened right in front of you. Some people don't. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. You know, maybe you don't have that in you, or maybe you're just not open to it yet. I don't know what the case is. But if you are the type that might notice things like this, I want to hear from you. I want you to message me on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. I'm on both, Ghost Wolf J or J Pettit. You can find either one. So let me know, you know. Hit me up, let me know what's been going on. I want to hear about what the activity is, the level of the activity, you know, like the intensity. I want to know if you feel like it's been more or less since this whole thing started. You know, details. You know, and I would love to read your story on air. You know, during the next episode, which will be coming very, very soon. Um, I think that, I'm hoping, anyways, that we will be able to get in at, the cross-eyed moose, for example, real soon. Um, I don't know if we'll be able to do like a big event, but hopefully we'll be able to investigate there at least. Because I can almost guarantee that activity's off the chain right now. Especially since, people haven't been able to go there. But I guess places are starting to open again, so we'll see. Um, I have done a little bit of investigating around here, kind of on my own, and at work, actually. Um, okay, so my current employer has a strict policy about social media. So I can't say who they are. That happens a lot, by the way. But something might actually be here. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, but they are like the biggest maker of plastic household goods in the country, if not the world. So I'm sure you could guess. In any case, even stuff's been going on while I'm at work. Now, when it comes to work, I kind of write it off a little bit. But in way of explanation, I'll tell you this. The reason I have is because most of what's been going on has been audible. Okay, so stuff that you hear. But the problem with that at my work is you're around these big machines that make a lot of noise and they never shut off. Alright, so, and it's long shifts. It's like 12-hour shifts. So I've heard my name called and nobody was around. But because of all the machines going off, I don't know, it was like audio pareidolia kind of thing, where like I thought I heard my name, but what I was actually hearing was the sound the machines were making, and that's just how my brain interpreted it. I don't know. What I do know for certain is that didn't happen when I was there before. Because I was there before for about 6 months, and then I left and recently came back. And that didn't really happen before. It's only been recently. Okay, and I know it's not really paranormal in and of itself, but I have noticed I'm kind of a big believer in fate. I guess you could say. And I've noticed fate playing into things a lot lately. Case in point, my job, right? I left there when I was there before. I worked there for 6 months and then I just left. Alright? And I was gone for 6 months. And then out of the blue, I get a call from the people that hired me asking me to come back to work. Right as this thing was really starting to kick off. And, there were a lot of things going on, but let's just say it was the perfect time for me to go back. And so I did. And, that's just one example. Like, and here's the irony before, okay, when I was there before, I was there for 6 months, and after 6 months, I still wasn't hired in to the company itself. I was still being employed by a temp agency, right? So, this time around, they asked me to come back after I'd left, and after all this stuff starts to happen, and I come back, and I get hired in. So, I now work for the company itself. Which, I gotta say, is so far pretty awesome. Alright, Bubba. My dogs are in here with me. Lay down. Lay down. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. Oh, I love you too. I love you too, but I'm doing something right now. Lay down, honey. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Come on, lay down. There you go. Good baby. Alright, so anyhow, those are my stories. I would really like to hear yours. And I'd also like to hear from you in general. Just, say hi. I'm alive. I'm making it. Whatever. Just let us know how you're doing. Anyways. So, the other thing I've noticed is not just in my house, but there's times when I'm like around town or whatever, and it's like it'll be quiet out. There physically won't be anybody around, but you still feel like you're not alone, that kind of thing. And then I'll catch like things out of the corner of my eye, or there's actually been 2 occasions where it was been like blatant, you know, like I saw with my own eyes, which is not, you know, abnormal for me. I see them anyways, but what was abnormal was that they were being very blatant about it. Usually they're a little bit shy, like, okay, yeah, you found me, kind of thing. This is more like, hi, I'm here. You know, that was like the feeling from it. It was like, hi, I'm right here. And there's been 2 major occasions like that. If you've listened to my show at all, you probably already know I live pretty much, well, not right across, but right down the street from Glendale Cemetery, which is pretty much the largest cemetery in Akron. It's 28 acres, and it has graves that go all the way back to the American Revolution. Or not the American Revolution, sorry, the Civil War. But either way, you know, so there's a lot of history there. And I was walking up Maple Street from the Circle K, and I see a figure dart into the cemetery, like go into the gate, but the gate was closed. So they walked through a closed gate, for starters, and then they disappeared just on the other side of the gate. So that was the first occurrence of the 2 that I'm talking about. The second was right in front of my house. I just gotten home from a 12-hour shift, and it had rained that day, so I couldn't ride my bike. So I took a Lyft home, you know, like Uber Lyft, LYFT Lyft. I took one of those home, and I was just getting out of the guy's car, and I see a figure on my front porch. But there was nobody physically there at all. But it was very, very blatant. Like, I'm here. What it feels like to me is it's almost as if they're saying, hey, we're tired of waiting, get your ass in gear. And I agree. It's about that time. It is truly about that time. I think far more harmful than COVID, coronavirus, whatever you want to call it, is the paranoia that's been associated with it. And I don't mean just to me or you know, paranormal investigating. I mean to the world. That has been far more harmful than any illness. Because people aren't socializing like they were. And when people don't socialize, bad things happen, like I said before. And it's starting to show. You know, people are starting to be a little less tolerant than they used to be. Not that people were always, you know, the most tolerant in the world, but, you know, I think you see where I'm going. it's changed people, and not always for the better. Some people, they've rose to the occasion, and they've become more understanding, more loving, more awesome, and others have gotten far, far worse. Case in point, after this whole thing started, there was literally a drive-by shooting right in front of my house. Now, they weren't aiming for me. They were aiming for the guy that used to live next door in this little duplex, who was obviously up to something. But it just illustrates my point. You know? People, all across life have become a little bit more intolerant. And with world leaders like we're stuck with right now, we need all the tolerance we can get. So yeah, no, I'm not a Trump supporter, just so you know. I don't. I'm not going to hate on people that do support him. I think they're just ignorant. Okay? And they are. Because, first of all, if I could go back in time, the one thing I would change is I would keep this place in the hands of the Native Americans, my people. But aside from that, this country, as it is, was founded by immigrants. It was built by immigrants. And it really bothers me the fact that people are saying immigrant nowadays in the same way they would say terrorist. These people don't deserve that. You understand? Immediately after he changed the immigration laws and started deporting people, they separated 700 children from their families. Anybody that thinks that's good should just fucking slap on a swastika right now and call it a day. Because that's all you're doing. You're following this fucking Nazi that, quite frankly, looks like the love child of Richie Rich and Cartman, who doesn't make any sense at all and has done absolutely nothing good for this country. He's alienated everybody. Everybody. He's alienated his own people. A comedian I just watched actually summed it up very nicely. She said, talking about the dumbass in the Oval Office, she said, he's made refugees out of his own people by hating refugees. Which is true. It's true. And the people that support him, you know what, I'll put it to you like this. I don't remember the gentleman's name, and I wish the man nothing but peace and love and happiness, but there was an older Native American gentleman at a protest in Washington, D.C. During the early days of Trump's reign in the Oval Office. And he wasn't bothering anybody. He was sitting down on a street in Washington, D.C., playing drums. He wasn't talking to anybody. He wasn't harassing anybody. He wasn't doing anything wrong. And these three fucking little Trump Nazi fucking little teenage fucking idiots is what they looked like, come up and start pushing him around and harassing him when he wasn't doing anything wrong. That sums up Trump pretty well. And any female that supports him really should turn in their woman card right now. Because he does not support women at all. In fact, if you look at it like in an objective way, he meets almost all the criteria to be labeled a sociopath. I should know. I'm what's called a functional sociopath. Doesn't mean I'm evil or that I want to, go kill people or whatever. It means I don't process emotions the same way normal people do. That's what the functional part means. Whereas an outright sociopath does not function emotionally at all. That's what Trump is. Because everything in his life is about him. What else do you call a person that accepts zero responsibility for their actions? How many times have we heard him say things on, the news or whatever, and he's been like, oh, well, that's not what I said, even though he just said it. Or, they're just hating on me, or what. I don't know his exact phraseology, but that's essentially what it means. Oh, they're just hating on me because they're ignorant. No, we're not the ignorant ones. That would be you. Case closed. But anyways, folks, so yeah, going back to the topic at hand, if you've noticed an increase in paranormal activity, please message me, let me know. Until next time, my pack, my tribe, peace.